Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste a second. You want success? You want power? Then drop these 9 habits today, or stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life. Your choice. You've told yourself enough lies for a lifetime. It's time to stop. Excuses are nothing more than dressed-up regrets waiting to happen. Every time you whisper one, you betray your own potential. You say you're tired. You say you're not ready. You say it's not the right time. You say it's harder for you, and maybe it is. So what? Since when did difficulty become a reason to stop? Since when did obstacles become permission to quit? The truth is, you've gotten comfortable with comfort. You've been sold a cheap idea that you can talk your way into success, that you can reason with failure, that life will somehow understand if you give a half effort and demand a full reward. It won't. Life doesn't negotiate. It takes what it's owed. And if you're not giving everything, don't expect anything. Every time you justify your laziness, your delay, your hesitation, you are robbing yourself. You are choosing failure in installments conveniently broken into daily excuses. People with fire in their bones don't talk like that. Winners don't make room for doubt. They don't let weakness drive. They don't explain failure. They eliminate it. When you make excuses, you are telling the world, I am not in control. I am a passenger in my own life. And that is the fastest way to stay broke, weak, and forgotten. You want greatness? Then stop explaining why you're not there yet. Stop posting quotes and start living them. Your excuses are thieves. They steal your time. They steal your energy. They steal your future. Every I can't builds a wall around your own potential. Every maybe later is a brick in the prison you are building for yourself. People spend more time justifying their failure than they would have spent building their success. That's the tragedy. That's the truth. You say you didn't have the right upbringing. So what? The graveyard is full of people who had a rough start and never fought through it. Nobody's going to hand you a second life because your first one was hard. You say you didn't have support, that you were doubted, that no one believed in you. And that should light a fire, not a pity party. The world has never been changed by the supported and the safe. It's changed by the hungry. The ones who decide their excuses are nothing compared to their mission. You're not lacking time. You're wasting it. You're not lacking talent. You're burying it. You're not lacking resources. You're refusing to use what you have. You don't need perfect conditions. You need perfect commitment. People talk about what they would do if they had more money, more connections, more time. They forget that success doesn't ask what you don't have. It demands that you use what you do have until it multiplies. If you're waiting to have everything before you begin, you will die waiting. Excuses don't protect you, they poison you. They may feel like comfort in the moment, but they will rot your spirit over time. You'll wake up one day and realize you built your entire life on reasons, not results, and by then it's too late. You'll be surrounded by people who fed you the same lies you fed yourself. It's okay, you tried. No, you didn't. You paused, you hesitated, you talked, but you didn't try. Not fully. Because trying means effort. It means obsession. It means there was no other option. The people who make it, they don't entertain excuses, not even for a second. They bleed, they break, they suffer, but they move. They show up when it's inconvenient. They build in silence. They don't care if they're tired, if they're scared, if they're alone. They do it anyway. They aren't superhuman. They're just sick of their own BS. They looked in the mirror and decided that their excuses were no longer welcome. So what are you going to do? Keep hiding behind your story? Keep explaining why you haven't started? Keep pointing at other people and hoping something changes on its own? Or are you finally going to do the one thing that changes everything? Burn the excuses, burn the fake logic, burn the fake limits. It's not about motivation. It's about decision, discipline, ownership. No one is coming to save you. No one cares how good your excuse sounds. They're watching what you produce. They're watching what you become. You think the successful had it easy? No, they just didn't stop. And the only thing separating you from them is how long you're willing to believe your own lies. Excuses are expensive. Every time you make one, you're paying for it in regret. You're delaying your legacy. You're betraying your gift. And for what? For comfort? For fear? You weren't built to settle. You weren't born to repeat yesterday. You weren't made to explain why you couldn't. You were made to conquer, but you can't conquer what you keep excusing. It starts the moment you look yourself in the eye and say no more. No more blaming, no more stalling, no more waiting for a sign, no more excuses. You've waited long enough. The right time is a myth, a convenient lie disguised as strategy. It's the excuse that wears a suit. It looks intelligent. It sounds logical, but it's poison. The moment you say, not yet, what you're really saying is, maybe never. And that's how dreams die, not in one big crash, but in quiet hesitation masked as patience. You've convinced yourself that delay is wisdom, that holding back is preparation, that waiting means you're being smart. But what it really means is that you're scared. It means you don't believe in yourself enough to act with what you have. It means the comfort of planning has replaced the courage of execution. People spend years perfecting a plan for a day that never comes. They think success needs perfect weather, that the stars need to align, that their bank account needs to hit a certain number, that they need a little more confidence, a little more experience, a little more approval. So they wait, they stall, they dream, but they don't move. Let this sink in. You don't need a green light to start. You don't need permission to ride. The people you admire didn't start when it was safe. They started when they were under pressure. They started when it didn't make sense. They started when everything in their life was chaos. And they still went because they knew what the average person never learns. There is no right time. There is only now. You're not waiting for the right time. You're just avoiding risk. But understand this. Avoiding risk is the biggest risk. Every second you stall, someone else is building. Every minute you hesitate, someone else is launching. And while you're preparing for the perfect moment, someone with half your talent and twice your drive is already taking the win you thought belonged to you. You say you're being patient. No, you're hiding. You're protecting your ego from failure. You're hoping that one day you'll wake up and everything will be lined up. The money, the confidence, the connections, the clarity, all there, gift-wrapped and ready. But that day doesn't exist. Life doesn't reward the hesitant. It rewards the bold, the ones who leap without guarantees, the ones who move while others wait, the ones who act while others talk. Every empire was built on imperfect conditions. Every legend began with chaos. Every story you admire came from someone who didn't wait. They didn't know all the steps. They didn't have a master plan. They just started. They used what they had. They made mistakes. They adjusted. They learned fast and failed faster. They embraced the pressure. And while you're thinking about how to get started, they're already 3 steps ahead because they did something you're still afraid to do. They began. The illusion of the right time will rob you of your entire life. It will whisper to you during every opportunity. It will remind you of everything that's not perfect. It will convince you that you're being strategic when you're actually being passive. It will praise your caution while your chances rot behind you. The graveyard is full of people who were about to start, people who had great ideas, people who had massive potential, but they never moved because they kept waiting for that magical signal, a sign, a cue, a feeling, and all they got was time passing them by. You don't need to feel ready. You need to decide you're done waiting. That's the shift. That's the moment everything changes. That's when your life begins to move. When you stop giving power to the calendar and start giving power to your commitment. You don't need certainty. You need courage. You don't need the path to be clear. You just need to walk. The most dangerous lie is that you have time, that you can start tomorrow, that your goals can wait, that next week, next month, next year will somehow feel different. But it won't. Life won't slow down for you. The world doesn't pause for your comfort. Opportunity won't knock twice. Either you answer or someone else will. You're not behind because you're unworthy. You're behind because you're unwilling. Unwilling to be uncomfortable, unwilling to move without guarantees, unwilling to start when you're not certain of success. But that's the entry price. That's the toll. You pay it up front with discomfort, doubt, and pressure, or you pay it later with regret, shame, and a lifetime of what-ifs. Nothing changes until you do. Nothing moves until you do. The world responds to action. It reacts to momentum. It respects boldness. It does not reward hesitation. You've got a gift. You've got a fire. But you've let fear become your manager. You've let doubt become your strategy. And you call it timing when really it's paralysis. You want to win? Move now, not tomorrow, not after the next check, not when it's easier, not when it's clearer. Now, while it's messy, while it's risky, while it's terrifying, that's where power lives. That's where the real ones are born, not in the waiting room, but in the fire. Not in the theory, but in the fight. Not someday, today. If you want to fly, stop linking arms with anchors. Your circle is either building you or breaking you. And too many people are stuck at the bottom because they refuse to cut the dead weight. You don't rise by accident, you rise by choice. And one of the most powerful choices you will ever make is who you allow into your space. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, especially the ones who poison your energy, crush your vision, and drain your drive. You don't need permission to walk away from people who are holding you back. You don't need to explain why you've outgrown the conversations that go nowhere. You don't need to feel guilty for choosing elevation over stagnation, because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. The wrong people will bury you. Not with hate, but with subtle doubt, soft sabotage, and low expectations. You know the type. The ones who laugh at ambition, who get uncomfortable when you talk about change, who remind you of your past every time you try to build your future. They wear the mask of friends, of family, of realists. They say they're protecting you, that they care about you, but what they're really doing is projecting their fear onto your path. And if you listen long enough, you'll inherit their limits like they're your own. That's how dreams get diluted, not by failure, but by association. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. You can be the most driven person in the world, but if you're surrounded by people who settle, who complain, who gossip, who doubt, their energy will bleed into yours. You'll start shrinking to fit their comfort zone. You'll start questioning your hunger, your vision, your mission, not because you're weak, but because energy is contagious. And if you keep breathing in secondhand fear, eventually you'll start suffocating your own potential. You owe it to your future to protect your peace, to guard your focus like it's treasure, because it is. Every distraction has a cost. Every negative conversation taxes your clarity. Every toxic relationship is a weight on your progress. And the higher you want to go, the lighter you need to travel. You cannot soar while dragging people who are committed to crawling. The ones who mock your hustle, ignore your wins, and celebrate your setbacks. Those are not your people. The ones who clap when you're average but go silent when you start leveling up, those are not your people. The ones who call your discipline obsession, your goals unrealistic, and your passion too much, those are not your people. They are mirrors of what you are fighting to escape. And the longer you keep them close, the longer you stay stuck in the same chapter you were meant to outgrow. Growth is lonely for a reason, because most people are addicted to comfort. They don't want you to change, because if you change, it reminds them that they didn't. If you rise, it exposes the fact that they stayed where it was safe. Your evolution makes them uncomfortable, not because you're wrong, but because you're proof that they're not trying hard enough. And they will attack that. They will try to pull you back down to their level, not out of hate, but out of fear. Fear of being left behind. Fear of being outgrown. Fear that your light might shine too bright on their excuses. Let them go. Let the doubters watch from a distance. Let the critics talk while you build. Let the ones who don't clap when you win fade into the background. You don't need them. You need hunger. You need alignment. You need a circle that sharpens you like steel, that challenges you to rise, that checks your blind spots and fuels your fire. People say loyalty matters, and it does. But loyalty to growth, loyalty to vision, loyalty to mission, being loyal to negativity out of history or guilt is how people bury their future in someone else's dysfunction. It's not rude to walk away. It's not cold to protect your peace. It's not selfish to choose energy that matches your ambition. It's survival. It's strategy. It's necessary. You are not obligated to keep the same people around forever. You are not responsible for carrying those who refuse to move. You can love people from a distance. You can wish them well without dragging them into your purpose. This isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. You don't get to your next level by chance. You get there by surrounding yourself with those who demand the best from you, who don't let you slack, who remind you of what you said you'd do long after the feeling has faded. There is no breakthrough without boundaries. There is no greatness without pruning. There is no excellence without discomfort. If you're serious about changing your life, start with your environment. Audit your circle, audit the energy, audit the voices you allow to shape your thinking, because if you don't, you'll wake up 10 years from now still defending your limitations, still surrounded by people who gave up on their dreams, still having the same conversations about what you could be doing. No more excuses, no more fake loyalty, no more tolerating low-frequency energy. This is war, and your future is the prize. Protect it with everything you got. You talk too much. That's the problem. You speak with the confidence of someone who's already done it, but your results say otherwise. Your mouth is working overtime while your feet stay still, and that's why nothing is changing. You've mastered the language of ambition, but not the discipline of execution. Talking is easy. Talking feels good. Talking makes it sound like you're moving, but you're not. You're just circling the same goals, saying the same things, repeating the same intentions without taking the damn step. Words mean nothing without action. Nothing. You can convince everyone around you that you're serious, but you can't lie to results. You can say you're grinding, say you're planning, say you're committed, but if your daily life doesn't match your words, you're not on the path. You're on a stage, performing, entertaining, pretending. That's what endless talking becomes. A performance for people who confuse motion with progress. Ideas are worthless until you move. Plans are nothing until you act. You can have the best vision in the world, but until your hands touch the work, until your sweat hits the floor, until you feel that stretch of discipline pull you out of your comfort zone, you're still just fantasizing. Talking about it doesn't build it. Wishing for it doesn't create it. Dreaming about it doesn't make it real. Doing is the only language the universe understands. You're not tired, you're underworked. You're not stuck, you're under-executed. You've got more podcasts in your ears than hours on your craft. You've got more quotes saved than reps done. And the truth is, you don't need another reminder. You don't need another motivational post. You don't need another meeting, another brainstorm, another strategy session. You need to shut your mouth, get up, and do something. Nobody cares about what you're going to do. They care about what you've done. The world doesn't move for intentions, it moves for impact. Results speak, results echo, results leave a mark. And you don't get results by being the loudest in the room, you get results by being the most relentless. Silent workers are dangerous. They don't explain, they don't announce, they don't advertise, they move, they build, they win. There's a reason most people never change their life, because talking satisfies their ego. It gives them just enough of a hit to feel like they're making progress. But talk doesn't pay the bills. Talk doesn't get you stronger. Talk doesn't change your body, your business, your mindset. Only movement does that. You can scream about your goals, write them on the wall, tattoo them on your arm, but if your hands aren't putting in the work, you're lying to yourself. In high definition, people love the identity of ambition, but they hate the pressure of execution. Everyone wants the title, the glory, the image, but not the grind. Not the days where it's lonely, where it's boring, where it's painful. The ones who make it don't just talk about those days, they live through them. They wake up when it's hard, they show up when it's not fun, they take the hits, get back up and keep swinging, because they know results don't come from declarations, they come from decisions repeated daily, no matter how you feel. You don't need to talk about it, you need to be about it. You need to act so aggressively on your goals that you forget to tell anyone what you're doing. Let your work introduce you. Let your consistency define you. Let your results speak so loudly they drown out every doubt, every critic, every excuse you've ever made. There's nothing more dangerous than someone who decides to go all in. Not because they said it, but because they proved it with every move they made. Nobody is coming to remind you. Nobody is watching your goals like you are. Nobody is obligated to believe in your potential. That's your job, and it starts when you shut down the conversation and activate the commitment. If you're serious, you'll prove it in silence. You'll disappear into the process. You'll sacrifice the noise for the grind. Because the more you do, the less you need to say. You want to change your life? Then earn the right to speak by backing your words with relentless action. Replace talking with training. Replace planning with executing. Replace dreaming with delivering. Your goals don't care how passionate your speech sounds. They care how consistent your effort is. Every day you talk and don't move, you're delaying the life you say you want. So stop describing the life, start building it. Stop outlining the steps, start walking them. Stop shouting from the sidelines and step onto the field. Enough talking, enough waiting, enough selling yourself on why you're not ready. You were ready the moment you decided to change. Now prove it. The clock is ticking, the world is watching. But most importantly, your future is waiting, and it doesn't speak the language of excuses, it only responds to action. You are the only one standing in your way, not the world, not the odds, not the competition, you. The doubt in your head is louder than the truth in your heart, and that's why you're not moving like you should. That's why you keep hesitating. That's why you sabotage the very thing you claim to want. Every time you get close to the edge of breakthrough, that voice creeps in, the one that says you're not enough, not ready, not worthy, and you believe it. You hand your future over to fear like it owns you, but it doesn't. You do. You weren't born with self-doubt. You were trained to believe in limits that don't belong to you. Somewhere along the way, someone made you question your worth. Someone made you feel small. Someone made you think confidence was arrogance and ambition was too much. So now you hesitate, you second-guess your power, you play it safe, you lower your tone, you shrink your vision to fit the comfort of others, and all that does is bury your potential under layers of false humility and fear. You've been convinced that self-doubt is normal, that it's smart to question everything, even yourself. But that's not intelligence, that's hesitation disguised as wisdom. That's fear wearing the mask of realism, and if you don't kill it now, it will kill everything you're capable of becoming. Self-doubt doesn't just slow you down, it devours opportunity. It steals momentum. It makes you overthink, underact, and regret later. And the worst part is you start to believe that hesitation is part of your identity, when it's really just a habit you've been feeding for too long. You know what you're supposed to do. The path isn't the problem. The clarity is there. The resources are out there. The doors are waiting. But you won't walk through them if you keep thinking you're not ready. Let me make it simple. You'll never feel ready. Readiness is a myth sold to people who want to feel safe before they move. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. Confidence is a byproduct of consistent action, not the requirement for it. You want to feel strong? Then move through the weakness. You want to believe in yourself? Then prove yourself right with action, not arguments. You've made doubt your default. Every time you get a vision, you kill it with a question. You strangle your momentum with hesitation. You clip your wings before you ever learn to fly. That has to end. That mentality is costing you your future. Every time you play small to avoid judgment, every time you talk yourself out of starting, every time you tell yourself you're not good enough, you're choosing failure in advance, and no one is stopping you but you. People with half your talent and none of your heart are winning simply because they don't second-guess their moves. They take the shot. They go when it's uncomfortable. They don't wait for perfect. They just show up, and they keep showing up. While you're overthinking the start, they're building the finish. While you're analyzing your flaws, they're cashing in on their effort. While you're stuck in your head, they're out there making noise in the real world, and the only difference is belief. You don't need more talent. You don't need more time. You don't need more approval. What you need is to shut that voice down every time it tries to talk you out of greatness. You need to stop negotiating with fear like it's a partner in your decisions. You need to stop handing your power over to people who don't even have the courage to chase their own dreams. And you need to start walking like you were built for this, because you were. You've survived everything life's thrown at you so far. You've carried pain most people don't know about. You've rebuilt when others would have quit. You've shown up on days when you had every reason not to. That's not weakness. That's proof. You are not broken. You are forged. And it's time you start acting like it. Not with arrogance, but with certainty. Not with noise, but with presence. Not by talking, but by becoming. The people who rise are not the ones who never feel doubt. They're the ones who walk through it like it's background noise. They hear the fear and keep moving. They feel the uncertainty and still take the step. They don't wait to feel bulletproof. They show up as they are, knowing that growth happens in the doing, not the doubting. The next level of your life won't be accessed through better planning. It won't show up because you had the perfect strategy. It will arrive the moment you stop treating yourself like a question mark and start treating yourself like a damn statement. You've got everything it takes. Right now, not someday, not later, not when you feel it, now. All you have to do is believe that long enough to act. And once you act, the doubt gets quieter. Once you move, the fear gets smaller. Once you build, you stop apologizing for wanting more. So stop asking for permission, stop waiting for proof, stop doubting the very thing you were built to become, and start moving like you already know it's yours. If you don't control yourself, life will control you. You either master your habits or you become a slave to your impulses. There is no middle ground. Discipline is not a suggestion. It's a requirement. It's not something you apply when you feel like it. It's something you become when you decide to level up. And if you're still living day to day without discipline, without structure, without non-negotiables, you're not building a life. You're just reacting to it. You're drifting, you're surviving, and survival isn't success. Every goal you've ever set, every version of yourself you've dreamed about, every future you're chasing, it's all locked behind one door, and the key is discipline. Not motivation, not inspiration, discipline. That ruthless, cold-blooded consistency that shows up no matter the weather, no matter the mood, no matter who's watching. The version of you that makes it is the one who stopped negotiating with weakness and started acting on standards. The one who said, I don't need to feel like it, I just need to do it. Discipline is brutal because it demands results. It doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care what happened yesterday. It doesn't care how you feel about it. Discipline only speaks one language, execution. And that's why most people run from it, because it forces you to confront the gap between who you say you are and how you actually live. It puts a spotlight on your habits, your choices, your wasted time, and it tells the truth. And for some, the truth is too loud. You're not overwhelmed, you're undisciplined. You're not unlucky, you're inconsistent. You're not lost, you're avoiding structure. People love to blame everything around them, time, stress, distractions, circumstances. But the reality is this: if you don't own your day, it owns you. If you don't set the standard, you fall to the level of whatever's easiest. And what's easy? Skipping workouts, sleeping in, scrolling, delaying, complaining, starting over. That's what happens when there's no discipline. You live in cycles instead of progress. You need to start holding yourself like someone who's going somewhere. You need to stop giving in to every mood swing, every lazy thought, every excuse that whispers just one day off. One day off becomes two becomes a week becomes a story, and that story becomes your identity. The one that says, I'll never be consistent, or I always fall off. And it's a lie you keep living in, because you refuse to draw the line, that line that says, no matter what I execute. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. It's the sharp edge that cuts through chaos. It's the silent force that turns average days into progress. It's what keeps you locked in when the hype wears off and reality hits. And it doesn't show up as fireworks or breakthroughs. It shows up in the small decisions every single day. When you say no to comfort, when you shut down distraction, when you show up for your goals like they pay your rent, because one day they might. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to build the routine for you. No one is going to force you to be great. This is your life, your name, your legacy. And if you don't respect your time, your energy, your standards, don't expect the world to. Don't expect results when you're still living like someone who only half believes. Don't expect greatness when your daily actions scream mediocrity. You have to earn the right to become the person you say you want to be, and that earning is paid in discipline. You want to feel better? Build discipline. You want peace in your mind? Create order in your day. You want momentum? Stack habits, not excuses. You want freedom? Earn it through structure. You think freedom is doing whatever you want? No, that's chaos. Real freedom is doing what you must without anyone having to tell you. Real freedom is self-control, and self-control is built one discipline choice at a time. Discipline is showing up when nobody claps. Discipline is getting it done when your body says quit. Discipline is doing the hard thing first, doing the right thing always, and doing it all without applause. And that's what separates you. That's what builds the edge. That's what turns potential into results. Not talent, not hype, not I'm feeling it today. Just raw, quiet, consistent execution stacked for weeks, months, years. The people you admire didn't get there by chance. They live by rules you won't see. They eat the same meals, hit the same reps, stick to the same grind day in and day out because they're not chasing excitement. They're chasing greatness. And greatness doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to discipline. And if you can't live with that, you won't touch it. You'll talk about it, you'll dream about it, but you'll never own it because the price is too high for the undisciplined. So enough waiting, enough softness, enough I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is the drug that keeps the undisciplined comfortable. You want to win? Start now. Build a code. Keep it sacred. Show up whether it's raining or shining, whether you're tired or not, whether anyone sees it or not. And keep doing it until discipline is no longer what you do, it's who you are. You've got one shot at this life, and every day you tolerate these habits, you trade your future for comfort, your potential for excuses, your greatness for average. Quit making